Hey everyone, I want to talk about, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of OCD and anxiety recovery, and probably the piece of OCD and anxiety recovery that's misunderstood the most. And, you know, with the thousands of people that come into OCD recovery from all countries all over the world, I can't really think of any major country I don't work with currently, all throughout India, South America, every country in the European Union, even when I thought Portugal was in South America, because I'm a dumb American, and all over America, etc. The number one thing that people come in and they say, hey, I worked with this organization, I work with this person, and this is what they told me about rumination. And here we go again, another video covering everything incorrect about rumination. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below, please comment. We have that direct message with Phil so we can get you in right away and I can help you break this down. The first thing and the most important thing is that rumination is not a compulsion. Now, I use this example because every account that I watch, and I do have to watch a lot of stuff to break things down by well-intentioned individuals that are doing their best to help people. So there's actually one really big article on rumination that I get sent the most, and most people know who I'm talking about, where they say rumination is in your control. And I say that's like going up to a girl in her menstrual cycle and saying that the symptoms during the menstrual cycle are underneath her control. It's silly. Rumination is the rain that's coming from the storm. The storm clouds itself, where the rain is coming from in the sky, is your core fear. And as the rain is coming down, that is the actual rumination. It's an automatic symptom that's coming from the storm, which is your core fear. So you're not trying to stop rumination. You're trying to stop the outward engagement that you're doing on top of rumination, because there is a lot of that going on. That is something that I missed myself. And then people say, well, where's the line in the sand? How do I know what's automatic and how do I know what's not? You have to learn lean into the uncertainty. It's certainly not as easy as this is mental rumination. Rumination is something you can bring down 1%. There are still people that proclaim that you can just bring down rumination 1% each day. Look, there are not many people on this planet that work with chronic OCD sufferers at the level that we do with OCD recovery. And I have yet to meet one person that has recovered from severe OCD in 3 months to 6 months. Are there people that make great progress in 6 months? Sure. Most people, it takes multi-years because of these beliefs being there for long, long periods of time. And I was no exception to that rule. It took me a long time to understand that rumination was a primary symptom to my core fear. So it's core fear. Core fears come with a plethora. Think about a pyramid chart. At the very top is the core fear. Then we have behaviors. Then we have automatic rumination. So let's say when you wake up in the morning and your brain starts instantly ruminating whether you're gay or not, or the fear of you losing control, or health OCD and health anxiety and everything else in between, sensory motor. That is not something you can stop. I just got off the phone with someone the other day. If they watch this, they'll probably laugh watching it. New person that came in, and they were saying, I was working with someone that had me doing exposures, and then they told me, after the exposure, do not ruminate anymore. No more rumination after the exposure. And I say, that's like going to get a tattoo and saying, I don't want any pain, and not using the numbing cream. The pain from the tattoo is a symptom of them piercing layers of your skin to put ink in your body. You have to wear the symptom of the pain, getting the tattoo, and then as the tattoo heals and goes away, the pain goes away. It's the most misunderstood piece of OCD, and I have to cover this multiple times a month because I have so many people that watch our content and they say, oh, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought that. I was working with this person. I was working with that person. They told me to do this, and it doesn't work. I say, well, these people have never had chronic OCD, so of course they think it works. You have to understand their worldview. But it's the same thing. Like I always say, you can write 100 books on World War II and teach at Oxford on military history, and you could be a plumber who has no idea even how to read or write. You will understand more about war if you actually storm the beaches of Normandy in most cases and survived, which most people did not in that example. So, and that's how it works. So you're wearing rumination throughout the day as you're breaking down your core fears. You're not trying to get rid of that rumination. That's the mistake I made. That's the mistake that most people make. And what you want to realize is that the rumination, the automatic confusion, the intrusive thoughts, images, sensation, urges are going to be there for a very long time. And as you become comfortable with the rumination, as you become comfortable with your worst case scenario, that starts to dissipate. But the more you try to rid yourself of rumination, the more you try to stop the rumination, that rumination is like Mike Tyson in his prime. He just keeps coming back and hitting you with uppercuts and left hooks. And you're like, why am I getting beat up so bad by this rumination? Well, it's coming from your core fear. So for me, what were my biggest core fears? The fear of being stuck forever, catastrophizing, saying that's horrible, all the symptoms that come with it, all the physical symptoms, the fear of being fat, the fear of being ugly, all the body dysmorphia stuff that comes with it. And realizing that even if that was the case, it still wouldn't be the end of the world, which then diffuses that attachment in the mind of the automatic rumination. So the biggest takeaways from this: rumination is not really a compulsion. You are outwardly analyzed on top of that. Most people, engagement. No, you won't be able to know which one is which. You're trying to make peace with the rumination. As you're doing exposures, outward exposures, you're not trying to stop yourself from ruminating. That defeats the entire purpose. The purpose of a good exposure is to trigger rumination and symptoms, to allow yourself to bask in those symptoms and go throughout your day. And number 5 is your core fear is driving that. So for me, I have a core fear of being stuck with my saliva and swallowing and blinking and breathing sensations for the rest of my life. If I notice those for the rest of my life is ruined. That brings automatic rumination on when I'm going to stop noticing my sensations. Am I going to stop other people blinking when I look at them? Am I going to stop all those symptoms? Am I going to be able to stop noticing those? The intrusive rumination confusion cycle, which is coming from, if I can't stop noticing this, my life is ruined. As I make more peace with that, that's when the automatic rumination comes down. So the moral of the story is rumination is not really a compulsion. It is a symptom of your core fear, a symptom of your rigid beliefs and habit patterns. As those change, your rumination starts to come down. Thank you so much for watching. Just a quick short video on rumination. I have to cover this a lot because it is covered incorrectly so much. If you have any questions, please ask down below. Let me know what you think about this. Share this with friends and family, anyone you know who has OCD, anyone you know who is struggling with cutting rumination, the biggest myth in mental health, which doesn't work. Very hard to understand unless you had it. And thank you, as always, for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.